Okay, so we commencing 26th February analysis. So let's go over the news first. We didn't have anything on Monday, although it was a good trading day. It was only good because I exactly knew when to engage and when to stop. Otherwise, it could have turned out really, well, not the best basically. Now Tuesday, you can see here that don't really have much apart from this durable goods, which doesn't really shake the market that much anyway. And then these two pieces of news again, nothing much there. February 29th, Thursday, is where you can see some movement with the jobless and some other news, core PCE. And then again on Friday, um, again, nothing huge as we end the week, end this month. Okay, so just starting up with the higher time frame analysis as usual. And I'm gonna go over the monthly first to just discuss a few things. So as we predicted last week, we're rejecting that inversion and that fair value gap, okay? And that perfectly panned out, didn't it? So that candle, as I predicted last week, would close bearishly, and it did. Rejected the higher levels, okay? And it filled up this fair value gap here as well. Now, with the continuous risk on bias, we want to see this sinking down into more discount levels. So if we jump down to a daily chart, then that would be the previous weekly low as the first target, eventually the relatively equal lows here, and this volume imbalance and a small fair value gap here. Okay, so this is the key focus for now, and later on in the week, maybe, just maybe, we might get there. Okay, so that's for DXY. Now, if I just go on the EU, like I said, that fair value gap on the monthly inversion, normal fair value gap, rejection of that, go on the weekly chart. You can see that rejected that, closed bullishly above, filled up this small fair value gap. I want to see this flipped, okay, as a support now. So I want to see this act as support as we push higher into this, and maybe this previous weekly high, which we meant to do last week, but we closed here, as the market on close does. This wick was forming, so that's why we didn't touch it, okay? This week has the perfect opportunity to hit this. Your best chances are Tuesday, Wednesday to Thursday. You're looking for this. These two, 1 and 2. And if you're really bullish, then maybe this small fair value gap here. But that weekly fair value gap should play an important role here. This should be support. So resistance turned support. This should act as, okay? So I want to change this color code so we know. And so same goes for that 4 hour later on, okay? So the 4 levels on there are also key. Just get rid of that. So that's our analysis. So it should be a relatively easy week as I'm predicting again. Just like last week, this should be relatively easy as long as we pick our shots, we don't overtrade. And as long as we stay away from when it's not clear. Often on those days when it's not clear, it's just a lot easier. I'm not even saying don't trade the entire day. What I'm saying is it's not clear right now. Now that doesn't mean it's not going to be clear later on or it's going to stay like that whole day. What it means is just take a step back, okay? Like I did on Friday, a really good strategy. If you think that it's 50-50, it can go up and down. You may think it's going to go up, but before it goes up, you want to see it go down first to get counterparty baited or the liquidity pairing to happen. If you think like that, the best thing is step away, set yourself a time, okay? Look, I think it's 50-50. I think it's, while I think gun to head, I think it's still going to go up. That's a sponsorship and the narrative. But I also think it can go down for the counterparty liquidity pairing. If you come across a situation like that, it's best, for example, if it's 12, it's best to just say, okay, this is what I think is going to happen, but it's unlikely, so I'm just going to let it do its thing and just, take a back seat and then set my alarm at 1:30. I'm going to be back at 1:30 and see if it's done that discount move. If it's done that, offers me a good place to enter, boom, I'm going there, okay? Otherwise, not interested. Or you might come back, it's already hit the premium target you were expecting. Big deal, okay? That's the best thing to do. Set yourself a time, set yourself price targets, and then come back in the time to see what price target is. Obvious as a draw. That's the best thing I've discovered on Friday that I can do to avoid myself getting in too early or getting into low probability trades. So these are your targets, okay? So let me just put one here. Previous weekly high. So, sorry, one more thing with the pound. I was just gonna compare the pound as well, because I was comparing every single trade I did with the pound versus euro, and pound was actually really similar to the euro. In some places it ran a little bit more, some places actually ran less, so it's a trade-off, okay? Like, it's, yeah, sure, it does move a lot, but then there's also times where it doesn't move as much, because it just depends on euro GBP, what it's doing. It's stronger or is it weaker? Now, with the weekly chart, I anticipated we might hit this and go up. We didn't even do that. So that straight away shows me this is extremely bullish. So the pound is really strong against the euro. So with the euro, the pound, what I wanted to say is actually, because obviously we didn't visit this, this is strongly bullish. The euro GBP example I wanted to disclose was this actually on the daily chart. You can see, like, generally speaking, it's been weaker compared to pound. So the bigger moves are actually going to be on pound. This gap is our stepping stone now. We violated that. Body closing above. So stepping stone, find support, head to the next level up. What is that? Number 1, previous weekly high. Number 2, relatively equal highs on the weekly chart. So if I just draw that annotation in, and of course this is just for our higher time frame purpose. So this is for the weekly chart. If you ever come down, that is, then I expect this to not be violated, this to hold up, and then we will go up most likely to this high, start of February. So this is a weekly draw for GBP USD. Thank you.